everyone, we're back.
We're always back. It's
Yes. It's Francesca,
me,
Lisa, and we have a special guest tonight that we are going to introduce to you in a minute. Because first off, we have people to thank.
We have to thanks Ma for watching.
Ciao Olivia, that's my dog by the way. So
Yeah,
yeah.
don't worry about thanking the guy who does all the production.
Oh,
No, it's
yeah,
okay.
right.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
There's
He's not
also
important.
Vanya over
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Well,
he's there,
thank
he's
you,
there.
by the
Keep
way.
him there.
That forever hovering
Whatever.
voice in the background.
Whatever.
Yeah, like blah
Whatever.
blah noise. Yeah.
So I'd like to say hello everybody, and that's what I said. So now we're going to thank our sponsors. Why? Because without them, we'll still be here, but now we're happier because we have
Definitely
you.
happier.
They were definitely happier. Thank you so much. So I'm going to start off with one of the most amazing photographers that we know, that we see online. Richard Bab Photography. Thanks so much, Richard.
Thank
oh my God.
you, Richard.
He's recurring, and that's so awesome. We appreciate it. Cosplay, theatrical. I mean, you should see some of his work. It's all over Instagram as well. And I see it going through the feeds, and he's got style. He's got style. He has a great eye. Very elegant, very risque sometimes, depending on what you want, but it is fantastic stuff.
Either if you want to do a calendar for you and your girlfriend, or just like
Yeah.
some visuals for your company, call him.
Promo,
You can do
it's-
everything.
Exactly.
It's a 360 service.
Absolutely. I like that. The 360 service. It's whatever you want. So Richard Bab, you can contact him, mobile 514-923-3168. Instagram, Richard_Bab_photography. Guys, check him out because it's definitely worth it. And second, we love him. He's the best. Nettoyage Diamant.
He's a diamant.
You're a diamant, Anthony. A
Yes.
gem.
We love you so much.
Exactly, and I said I was going to call you, so I am going to call you, and definitely great stuff, great work, cleaning extraordinaire. I mean, commercial spaces, residential spaces, big spaces, small spaces, high spaces, low spaces,
No spaces. you
diagonal
clean
spaces,
anyways. So, this
whatever
line is
it is.
cleaning already. So great. Yeah.
Yeah, we just want to make sure we get it all in there.
Yeah,
Important.
for sure. Yeah.
You know, 514-686-1581, info@nettoyagediamant.com, and he's also Instagram @nettoyagediamant. So it'll probably, because we do say here, but Vanny never follows instructions, so he just puts it in
Not
the
true,
big
not
script.
true.
Yeah, he doesn't
So here
follow.
you can
Puts
see.
it where the program allows him to effing put it. How
That
about
is an
that?
excuse for you're not going to tell me what to do. I'll do what I like.
There you go, even better.
So, guys, and also stay tuned for our brother podcast, which is Sessions with Steph.
It's about time.
And it's better to mention him once every.
Sometime two
Yeah.
times, you know.
It took 2 minutes into the podcast. Way too long.
Well, more important
Way
are
too
our
long.
sponsors, Vanny.
Oh, you're
So-
right. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Richard's the best.
And I
so
want
is
to
Anthony.
thank someone else.
Ooh.
And-
It's okay, Francesca. I love you too.
Oh,
Much
my
love,
God,
but
okay.
besides that, it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
pretty moment. But I want to thank Emil Widmar.
Yes!
Yes.
MMM.
Thank you.
And
man.
thanks for, which he is an ambassador for this as well. It's Vin Zero.
Yes.
And it's alcohol-free wine. And guys, look, the bottle's already been started, so you guys missed out. Sorry, it's just so darn tootin' good. So that's why we started the bottle. But guys, very good. You have to give it a try.
It's awesome.
You should pour some though.
Manny, you can pour some too.
Saying that the bottle started and there's nothing in the glass. It's like, come on.
Because we drank it
I
behind
know you.
the
I know you.
scene.
We've been drinking it since the beginning.
There you go. Look at
Gigi
that.
knows what's happening.
There's just,
Instead of drinking only water.
participation. It's called participation.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So this is great
You-
because it's how
Thank
to
you,
get a
thank you.
booze without booze.
And you see the segue, right? Because he's a
I'm
master
going-
in the kitchen and he
There you
pulls
go.
up the wine right away.
There you go.
Right?
Don't unveil our guest.
I just-
Don't
Spoiler
unveil
alert,
him.
I
always
just
depend
did the
on that.
segue. I prepared it all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, salute.
Cheers, salute.
Lui non può, he cannot because he's drinking water and you don't
Yeah,
do
exactly.
it water.
I know.
Yeah.
He wanted to be sober for the
Yes,
podcast.
exactly. So, but since you already kind of gave a hint on what our guest is doing. Well,
Thanks,
what-
Vanny.
Thanks, Vanny. By the way, this was like not in the script, which
Me,
we
if
don't have.
If we had a curtain, it would have been over. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Much appreciated. By the way, so we have with us tonight Giacinto Salerno from G Catering, which he owns. And by the name catering, you're probably assuming that what is the business about is indeed it's about food, high quality food for events, many type of events, but also private parties, even I believe private dinners. So everything is really tailored on your needs. It's very well explained in your website.
It is.
It is. But then we had also the chance to talk with Giacinto. So he has great ideas. And so let's start. I'll start with the first question. So I know you have a different background in what you study, but we'll talk about that later. But I want to know what actually brought you to food, not just to catering. Let's start with food.
That's a very good question. I mean, hunger.
Isn't it the reason for everyone to get into
I guess. I mean, I'm not sure. I gravitated towards food out of opportunity, and we've succeeded. I've succeeded in the business ever since, and I'm fortunate to have a second passion. Right, so you always get to have that one passion, like you guys do your podcast and you love it and you do it as the hustle. And I was blessed to have two passions that I, got to be very good at, and I love what I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with the ideas to create, let's say, what inspires you? There you go.
Ha.
Food.
Well, yeah, food
And hunger.
and hunger. To be completely honest, I mean, I have ideas. I have no culinary experience. I'm not gonna lie, super honest. But I surround myself with people that know the business and the industry very well, and it's thanks to them that the business has propelled. I mean, I'm a fond believer that surround yourselves with good people and good things will come. So I'm gonna say the bulk of the inspiration started off by working with great chefs and great sous chefs and great thinkers, and over time you just kind of develop certain things, and then you start to understand certain foods go with certain foods, and it's like colors. You can only mix and match certain colors to have a specific effect. And food, as much as it is art, it's also chemistry. So you don't mix certain items and then you kind of mix certain items, and the creativity, I mean, really all depends on palate and flavors and tastes and presentations and whatnot. So I can't take any credit for the creativity aspect, at least not day one. But I'm very thankful for everyone that I've worked with throughout the years, and I've learned quite a bit.
That's good. But also, it's very interesting because you're talking a lot about, choosing the right food for the right occasion and know how to pair things, but also just probably how also to read like your client's taste and to give them the experience that they're looking for. And I guess this is really into like the catering business. It's really hard to find, and it's great when you find a caterer like that. But you started actually with a restaurant that was like a Benevento, right?
Yeah, I did. I had a restaurant in 2001 to 2007.
Which is not an easy business.
Which is not an easy business, and I don't think I would open up another restaurant in all honesty. I think the catering industry is a completely different beast. The two common elements would be the people that you want to satisfy and the food. Other than that, I mean, they're really two different identities. They're ran two different ways. They're administered two different ways. So it's a completely different beast versus the catering aspect. I mean, I enjoyed the restaurant business because I had the opportunity to learn, to understand, to create, to figure it out. But most importantly, I mean, I think it's the connection with the people that really, drives me to kind of stay in this industry. And it is a form of art. As we mentioned before, I mean, I'm a musician not by trade, but by education, if you will. Not a very good one, but still a musician nonetheless.
A fantastic one, man.
Thank you for your boost. But so being in the music industry where you got to entertain the crowd and please the people, the food industry has the same thing. You're always out to kind of to please, and that's that's the end game. So when you're looking to, put smiles on people's faces, and you want to be proud of the accomplishments, and you want the client or the groom or the bride to say, oh, thank you so much, what a fantastic job. I mean, that's what drives the business. That's what fuels my fire. It's not so much the money aspect. I mean, the money is a bonus, right? But you can make money anywhere. You can, print as much money as you want if that's what you want to do. But the money comes, right? So by loving what you do, and it shows, and people see that you're passionate about it, and you see the end results, and it's, I don't know, it's a very important event for the event planner or for the client, or it's, the wedding day for the bride and the groom. It's a special moment, and the fact that you get to connect with them, and they're so grateful for everything that you've done, it's just super fulfilling.
Now, how do you know in terms of what you create for this a particular event? How do you know how to approach your client with what ideas in terms of a meal
So
and food?
the way it works is that the client calls you, right? And say, hi, I have an event. Or first you get the email. Hi, my name is so-and-so. We have an event on this date, 120 people. We'd like cocktails or canapes or whatever it may be. So, hi, thanks for your interest. You have a moment to discuss. I can send you a quote shortly after. So once you kind of speak to them, you have a better understanding of what it is that they need. And then this is how the menu kind of develops. So you have a generic website menu to kind of give you the global view of what's available. But it's after speaking with the client that you can actually understand their needs, and then you can suggest certain things based on their budget, based on the type of event, based on the location, the amount of resources that are available. If you have a venue with no oven, well, you're not going to say, well, I'll offer you a filet mignon. You have to be a little more strategic. You can supplement with kitchen equipment and whatnot, but it's really, there's a whole sales aspect to it as well, right? So you want to be able to generate a nice sale, but you want to be able to accommodate the event, and then you want to be able to accommodate the budget. So to kind of design a menu is really tailor-made. So there's no really cookie cutter. I mean, after a while, you kind of have the same ideas for different types of events. But it's really, I prefer to customize a menu according to your specific needs, to your specific budgets, your dietary restrictions, your religious restrictions. So there's a lot of different elements that involve in kind of creating a menu. And then once you have a general idea of the direction, the budget, the style, then you can kind of flare up and come up with different ideas.
That's very interesting.
It's very interesting, and also because like the part of catering in an event is a big thing for the winning and the outcome of an event.
Absolutely, and I also think that the word catering is very loosely used. I mean, everyone's a caterer, from your grocery store to your neighbor to soon, I don't know, Home Depot is going to start catering. So catering, for me, my definition of catering is really, it's not a question of food, it's a question of offering a complete service. So catering, as far as food goes, I think that's more like takeouts and deliveries or whatever it may be. I think that's what the bulk of the people in the catering industry do. We offer a little more of a complete catering service, where we offer your staff, we offer your rentals, your bar service, additional props or rentals that you may need, along with the food and different styles and different types of food, and food stations and guys making live. But we also have food ready to come and be dropped off, or come and pick it up at our facility, and so on and so forth. So
That's very interesting.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
how many people were
Being in the
your-
business, I
because-
have to interject here, because being in the music business, I do tons of events
Yeah.
with tons of caterers, and G is known, right? It's one of
I
the
don't know
top
about-
ones. It's everybody in the business knows. Oh my God, the food's coming from G, fantastic.
that's very nice of you.
No, but it's the truth. I just want it to be known to whoever's listening. Yeah, phenomenal. It's. I was talking to a buddy on my way here, saying, "Yeah, Gigi's going to be on from G Catering." He goes, "Oh my God, tell him I had his food at the event I did, and it was phenomenal." And this is not a word of a lie. He's another musician, M
fantastic.
actually, M from here. He goes, "Oh my God, tell him It was amazing. We even brought doggy bags home.
But that's really important. Like
It's
when
important,
you
yeah.
end an event and people comes to you, your client, because I have experienced an event too, and they come to you and they said, "Oh, by the way, the event was great and the food was fantastic."
That's what it is.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
really
what
a
you
win
remember.
for sure for the person who prepared the food, the caterer, but even for the event planner, because I mean, he suggested that service for sure. Like you want everything to be aligned to a high standard of professionality.
Absolutely.
Which sometimes it's, you know, like in this field, like it's very it's hard. There are lots of professionals, luckily, but there are also people, as you were saying, that invent themselves as caterer, and they are not prepared to work into a fast-paced environment when you know have to set up everything. Like as you were saying, they don't do on-site walkthrough to see how if there's a kitchen, what is inside the kitchen.
Yeah.
They just want to have money,
Yeah.
say yes, and then it becomes a nightmare
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the client, for the planner,
Absolutely.
for the caterer too, because he cannot deliver. So it's great what you were saying. Catering, it's another thing.
It is. I mean, you know, I'll say more events than catering, although you cater the food to the events and you cater the needs for the actual event. But yes, it is a completely different beast. And I mean, if you're not used to this, there's a lot of steps involved in executing like the perfect event. So visiting the space, understanding the needs, looking at the resources, making sure you have the proper staff. Then you have to kind of put all the moving parts together. The thing is that it's not one event. It's like when you have 12 events that go on simultaneously, then it becomes a little more, you know, challenging.
Yes.
But I mean, over time, everything becomes automatic. I mean, just like, you know, Steph can have a gig here, you know, he may have 4 other events or, you know, gigs going on at the same time, and he has a necessary crew to kind of, you know, he just masterminds the entire thing. But there's a lot of moving parts. So if you're not used to it, and if you haven't perfected at least the first one, it becomes very difficult to like multi-event execute. But I'm surrounded by great staff. I mean, I'm really nothing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm super thankful for all the staff that I have, and I'm very grateful for everyone, because it's because of them. I mean, I don't make the food. My kitchen crew does it, and it's because of them the food is great. You know, I don't wait the tables and I don't make the drinks. It's my great bartender and it's my great waiter that takes care of my client. But they see how much I love the business and how well I treat my clients, that it kind of rubs off on them, and they want to mirror the type of gratitude and thankfulness and attention that I have towards my guests. They kind of do the same thing. You know, they see, wow, I mean, that's a very nice approach. So I can take zero credit other than the G for G Catering. Other than that, I mean, I will have to take some credit because it is, you know.
Well, there's lots of
There's
planning.
always,
innovation,
there's always a
yeah.
mastermind in the back, right?
Planning.
Yeah, I
Organization.
know. But my people don't work for me. They work with me. Because I'll clean the toilets while they will be, you know, taking care of the bar and taking care of the clients and taking care of the hosting and whatnot. And so I really can't say that. I mean, yes, it has to stem from somewhere, from the root and the idea and so on and so forth. But everything is possible because of them. Without them, I would be like zero catering.
Well, I mean, it's great when you can show an appreciation for your team, because in essence, that's what it is. It's collaboration. And if they admire you because you admire your clients, then it sort of makes it easier to sort of, you know, mold into that and meld into that mentality. And so you're going to get that backing, and it's respect. It's the utmost respect.
Absolutely. And we know that it's, you know, it's thanks to the client that we are who we are. I mean, they are the money.
Yeah.
So they give us the business that allows us to do what we love to do, and it allows us to kind of just be happy in the work environment that we have.
That's good.
And I do believe that having good co-workers is essential. I mean, you know, you have to lead by example, and you cannot be the leader of the pack if you're going to criticize and
No, for sure.
fire and hire and diminish and belittle in front of it. No, if there's a situation, there's a time to address it. And I rather coach and educate. I mean, just the fact that they show up is already a big thing, right?
This is nice to see.
That's like 90% of the job is showing up. Everything else can be taught. But I truly am eternally grateful for all the staff that I have. They do wonders.
That's very nice of
Yes.
you to say.
Yeah.
And very inspiring also, because it gives an idea that a true leader, if you allow me to do it, someone that's
Absolutely.
lead,
Yes.
in the sense leading, not just commanding, but leading, is someone who inspires, who wants the other to grow with them, and not someone, as you were saying, that just point out the things that I want work, is that one create a good environment. And this in business, like many
Yeah,
others, is really, really important. And I have another question. We know that this field by itself is very challenging. There are many challenges. So what is, for you, what it was at the beginning when you're starting, like working in this fast-paced environment in catering, not in restoration, the biggest one, and what is now? Like, is it the same? It changes?
I mean, I think the more events you do and the more, gigs that you do and catering stuff that you do, my entire field is a challenge. So what we do, or what I do, is I'm a troubleshooter. So life is all about problems. It's not about the problems, and you can't always be negative. So basically, there's always solutions. And because we've encountered these problems over and over again, I'm not a believer of problems. Whatever the issue is can be resolved. Other than death,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
everything
true.
else can be
Can't fix that
resolved.
problem.
You can't fix that, but everything else, can be resolved. It's just that you need a clear state of mind. And you have to have lived certain obstacles and certain challenges in order to understand, okay, how can I resolve this thing like now? We did an event. We drove 2 hours and 45 minutes away. We have 300 guests waiting for us, and they forgot to put forks inside the truck.
Oh boy.
Sorry, we shouldn't laugh.
Yeah. So these are the type of situations that you have to get out of now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When
what
did
do you do?
realize that when you arrived there, or when you were on the?
Well, once we emptied out the truck,
Yeah.
right? So the way it works is that we have a kind of a checklist,
Yeah.
and there's a team that kind of loads all the trucks up, and they go according to the checklist, and someone forgot.
Missed
Yeah, they missed it, for lack of better words. So we're emptying out the truck, and now we have the linens, the tables, the chairs are in place, the centerpieces, the forks, the knives. We get to the forks. Gee, where are the forks? They're in the truck. Go and look in the truck, and you'll find the forks. There's no forks. I said, it's impossible. There are no forks. So there were no forks.
Wow.
So we had to send 4 waiters to Walmart
Oh wow.
and empty and purchase 900 forks.
Yeah, for sure.
What else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So, anyone who has not lived this time, it's
I'm
funny.
just thinking of the Christmas gifts that year. Yeah. Every family member got forks.
So, if someone has never really encountered this type of situation, they're going to be in a state of panic. So, when you're in a state of panic, you don't think thoroughly. And you're like, oh my God, I got to drive 2.5 hours back to go get forks. I'm going to be back here. It's going to be too late. What do we do? Oh, but I have plastic forks in my... I'm like, no. There's people that sell forks for a living. We're going to go out and we're going to spend $1,000 on forks, and we're going to go buy the forks that we need, and then we will deal with what happened at a later time. So no one kind of understood, no one saw the glitch. However, the forks came out right on time. So we had to lose a couple of staff members to go out and kind of get the stuff. But, the event went without a flaw.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
That's one
I
of the key.
have
These are
1,000
things
forks
we
more
don't-
than what I need.
I'll never forget one time I had an event too. I'll make it fast because it's not about music, but I'm at an event. The lights are the last thing I do. I program them. Once I'm ready, sound check's done, it's program the lights. And I had 4 moving heads back then, right? So I went to look and where the fuck are the power wires? Oh my God, no power wires. It's Saturday, 5 o'clock, everything's closed. How am I gonna power these lights? We charge for lighting. I need to power these lights. Luckily, I'm in a hotel downtown. I walked in the offices, the head office, wherever. I took them off computers because it's the same wire. Power cords, I took off. There was 4 computers that had no power all night, and then I put it back, and no one noticed. But still, you lose your marbles in those moments. You're like,
Of course.
"Oh, what am I gonna do?"
Of course.
Got to figure it out and just do it, man.
Oh yeah, because it's very fast paced, right?
It's super fast paced, and my business is really it's that because there's so many moving parts and so many items. It's not that I can turn around, go into the kitchen, and get the salt and pepper shaker. If it's not packed in your truck
Yeah.
for your events, you're not gonna find it.
Yes.
So it's got to be super detailed and very well organized. And I mean, it's human nature to kind of be overwhelmed, and you have multiple events going on. You know, sometimes not all the employees may be the best employees. They're all good employees.
Maybe not the best days for some
Yeah,
So
Well,
maybe they have an off day. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So it becomes a little bit frustrating.
I can imagine.
Very well said. Very well said.
I can imagine.
However, just the fact that he showed up at, 4:15 a.m. to start loading the trucks, this is what I look for when it comes to recruiting employees. Someone who wants to be there. It doesn't matter the talent. The talent can be, you can show
Trained.
talent, you can train them, it can be taught. I've worked with some of the best chefs. They don't show. So, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'd rather work with someone that has zero experience, go through the steps, but I know that you have a love and a passion and a devotion for it.
Yeah.
That is worth so much more. And my employee retention, if you will, is like 98%. We don't like turnovers. I want to see the same guy. I want to make sure that he likes
it's
what he
great,
does.
yeah.
We try to pay as well as we possibly can, and we acknowledge and we appreciate. And when it's time for staff meals, I mean, they can eat, all the filet mignons and the veal chops and the pie, and I'll be happy with like bread. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. I'll be happy to pour you a glass of wine. I need you guys to be happy, and when they're happy, it reflects on your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
They
in
also work
return,
better.
Yeah.
of course. And so this is why the retention is so high. And these guys, they're weekend warriors. I mean, I don't have 60 full-time employees. I have 60 part-time employees that kind of plug in. And I'll go down the list. I'm saying, hey, you want to work? Hey, you want to work? Hey, no, yeah, okay, good. Next. Hey, you want to work? Hey, you want? So everyone is like, hey, I want to work. I want to work. Please call me next gig. Why? Because they have a great time. They have a great time. They're very well respected, and it reflects amongst the guests. So the guests see that you're having a good time, and many times, guys will come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm a waiter. You guys are looking like you're having a great time. If you need any
Nice.
extra gigs, any waiters, we'd love to be part of it."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Hey, perfect." So you keep recruiting, and you keep recruiting it, and then you just, you try to keep them all circulating. You don't want to be like out of sight, out of mind. So you have your core people that have been with you for a long time that you can fully trust. And then everyone else is like, you put it out there. And then, I mean, if you can make it this week, and then I'll call him and he can make it that week, the next week or the next gig, well, I'll call him first because he
Yeah.
said yes first. Not that the other ones are not worth it, but just that's all.
But it makes
a
sense.
reliability thing,
Exactly.
It's
too.
It makes
reliability
also sense.
and it's automatic. But we have like multiple events per day where like if you guys are looking for work, if you're looking for work and you would like to do bar service, kitchen or floor, at gcatering.mtl or Traiteur G Catering on Facebook, and you'll see the website or the link or my email address, info@Traiteur G Catering. Send me. Say, hey, G, I saw your podcast. I'd love to work part-time and we can discuss the details. Great opportunity
fantastic.
to
Yeah,
enjoy
that's
Should
awesome.
revamp my CV because I like to cook and do this stuff, right?
For sure.
So, aside from the satisfaction that you get from your clients and seeing them appreciate what you create, in essence, right? What is that one thing that you can say aside from the client fulfills you as G, as the person who is creating this for somebody? What can you say about yourself? What is it that internally drives you aside from seeing others happy?
I mean, it's the almighty dollar that kind of plays a role in it, right? We're not
It's
going to lie.
well-
Yeah, I mean, it's a business. I
Makes
mean,
the world go round.
It makes
You
Yeah,
work
it
so
is
hard
true.
at the
It
end
is.
of the day, there's
Absolutely.
a form of...
Now, the level of greed that you have will kind of set you apart from the others. I mean, you can make, X amount of net profit per event. However, I don't need X amount of profit. So I'm ready to accommodate the client's budget by removing half of my. So another reason why I think we're so busy is that inflation, 7, 8, 10, 12, 20%, depending on the food items that you buy, I absorb it. So if you're gonna get married next year, you're gonna pay the same rates that you paid last year, 2022. Why? Because you may not afford that extra 20%. So I really want to give you the opportunity to drive that Ferrari for the price of the Mercedes. I'd rather make less money, satisfy my client. They're happy with the food, they're happy with the service, they're happy with the price, they're happy with the quality, and it just generates more business. I mean, people attract people and money attracts money.
I'm gonna refer you to someone else. word of mouth.
Absolutely. So that money comes back 10 times. So I don't mind making less. I mean, I would like to make.
Yeah.
Let's,
of course.
we'll be honest.
Of course.
I'm not in the, benevolent business. But at the same time, it's not about the dollar. It's not about the dollar value. It's really just about locking in the deal. And the more you're out there, the more events you do, the more people know you.
100%.
Right? So you can
One
do
way.
like,
Yeah.
we used to do bar gigs at like $500. And we didn't do it for the money. We did it for the love of doing it, first of all. But we do events for free. Why? Because they're promotional events. But they're not all promotional events. You have a budget and you kind of stick to that. But if you really, 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 gee, I really want you, I love you, I want your services. However, this is what I can afford. Can we work something out? Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather not compromise the quality of the menu and just make less money. So you get exactly what you want, you get your savings, and then, we still get the 5-star review at the end of the day. And this is what keeps the business moving forward. So it's not about money. I mean, money is a factor, but it's not exclusively for money, and money is not the number one thing.
Yeah.
It's the people.
And also you have competition, right? Like
Yeah.
you said, everybody becomes a traiteur. They cook 2 dishes, all of a sudden.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a
That's true.
catering
That's true.
company.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
true,
But
of course.
Lot of competition.
that's true. But it's also true that within this field, the moment you make a name for yourself,
Yeah.
I mean, there are others, but I mean, there's always that
that's
rows
how you
of
make-
5 names.
That's how you do it. You
Yeah,
make name
exactly.
for yourself by being
So, yeah.
the best worker, the most honest, the one who
The
doesn't.
You have a
professionalism.
rapport with the public.
Yeah.
They
That-
see the humbleness that you have. They see the goodness. They see that you're not taking them for a ride, and that rapport carries more.
Absolutely.
Because you can read the character, you can read the person, the sincerity. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
the
of course.
sincerity.
So you study as a sound
Yeah.
engineer, right?
As a sound engineer, yeah. So sound engineering was something that I took in school. So we did I did 7 years or maybe 100 years at Dawson and could not conclude anything. 4 years in social science and general studies. So
That's a good way of knowing many things, actually.
yeah,
took a couple years
absolutely.
in
A
Bris.
jack of all trades, and I sucked at all of them, right? So music was always something I wanted to pursue, and I ended up going to a school called Musique Technique that kind of introduces you into the business, and the sound engineering was something of interest to me. But schooling, has its advantages and limitations. The real school of education is the field, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
the more you're mixing, the more you learn. The more you play, the better you are. The more events you do, the more perfect or whatever you get. But sound engineering, music has always been a passion.
Okay.
From wedding bands to rock bands to Latin bands to bouzouki bands, we kind of played it all. And like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have 2 passions.
Yeah. And what is the point of contact, just one, between these 2 passions?
So being in a band and being in a catering business are very similar. It's like being on the road. So you have to load your trucks, get to the event, set
Yeah.
up the stage.
True.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Play the performance, then you gotta tear down, you gotta load the truck, and then you're off to the next city.
Yeah.
So it's very, very similar to being in a band. You have your musicians, you have the songs that you're gonna perform, which are the dishes you gotta do, and then it's very, very similar. However, maybe the end product is somewhat different. but the gratification is the same, the organization is the same, the practice is the same, the logistics are the same, the hustle is the same. And the more you do, the better you get.
I love this parallelism actually, because the way while you were explaining this, I said, yeah. Well, I mean, I never been touring in a van, but I know many of you guys that have been doing that, so that's for sure.
Yeah,
And,
super similar.
So that's awesome, actually.
Yeah, and in terms, because I want to go back to how you started
Your
off.
favorite song?
No. Tell me another one. No, in terms of how you decide the flavors. I love to cook, and sometimes I'll mix flavors, and this looks interesting. It turns out nice, thank goodness. But as somebody who's, I've never taken a lesson in my life, and it is through experience, and you sort of do it that way. Have you ever had a moment that you said, oh my God, is it trial and error? Or have you tasted your dishes just to make sure that
you have to.
Well?
You have to, right? Just like any other band, you're going to rehearse before going on stage, and you're not going to go on stage until the song is perfect. Same thing. You're going to try a dish. Ish. So, but yeah, you have to kind of come up with an idea, and you have to understand what flavors go with what. And you can watch a lot of cooking shows and talk to other people in the business, and Pinterest, or you have to research a lot, and I do a lot of that. Because it just doesn't come. It happens, but you have to be inspired. So by looking at other chefs and by looking at or competitors, you kind of get different ideas, and then you start to understand what goes well with what. So you start experimenting, and then obviously you have to concur and finalize a product and say, these are great ingredients that go together. But more so, I think it's a question of presentation.
Yeah.
So when you're eating as a guest, you would like to receive a beautiful dish that looks visually appealing. And this will kind of make up for a little bit of the imperfections in the actual plate. So when the guy or the girl gets the plates, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And people are like, everyone's taking pictures of them.
It's true, we take pictures of food.
You do take pictures of food, absolutely. So when it's visually attractive, there's already a psychological aspect that the food, if it looks beautiful, it must taste amazing.
Yeah, it's true.
You're pleased by the eyes.
Absolutely. So your senses are already
heightened.
They're in the positive mode.
Yeah.
So even if your beef may not be as braised for as long as you want it to, for whatever reason, just the fact that it was pretty, it's already, it's the best I've ever had. Perhaps, or maybe just your perception because it looks nice, and now your brain is kind of telling you, it looks nice, then it must be nice.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of forgiveness that's involved when your plate looks attractive.
Yeah.
And
it's like talking about a person, like attraction.
You look so yummy.
When you see someone that you really like physically, and then after,
well, it's kind of the same thing, I guess so.
It's easier to overlook other stuff,
Yeah, if you speak to someone and you like their inside and more than their outside, if the inside is just as nice, I can kind of
It won't last for long, but
well, it's a lot of times it's like someone who inspires you in terms of their talent.
yeah, for
Sometimes
sure.
it could be the not the most physically attractive person, but they have such a talent that it's like
It's attraction in general.
It's an attraction.
When
because
there's
so good at what
something,
they do,
it could be voice or whatever, but some element, you're right, because the
How
brain.
did Mark Anthony get J-Lo? Honestly, think about it.
You know what? But
Through his music.
But your
It's
brain
the-
is tricked.
Yeah.
Your
But
brain
if
is tricked.
you analyze him physically, he's about 2'4", 48 pounds.
Yeah, but I must
What is he, a
have,
hobbit? Like-
No, but he's like super small. Again, he's not. I'm not saying he's not a good-looking dude, but he's not. No, I mean,
he should be your next guest.
He should be. Yeah, let me call him up.
By the way,
Then
Mark
he's gonna
Anthony.
fire me.
Yeah. No, but honestly, it's all
It's
about
the rule of
yeah.
attraction, no? You kind of like trick your brain into something.
Absolutely.
I'm attracted to him the way he sings.
You did realize that people heard you say that, right?
I don't care. I love the way he sings, man.
Yeah, no, they did.
He blows
Yeah,
my
but it's
mind.
true.
Yeah.
You are kind of like moved towards something that you
Yeah.
are attracted to.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
So I try to
Shoes.
focus a little more on the presentation of the display
Yeah.
as much as or in parallel to the actual flavors.
Okay.
So the actual cooking aspect, I will leave it to the guys who know. I mean, I don't know all that much. I'm not gonna lie. I know.
But you taste it, no? Every
Of
time.
course, we taste, but I leave. Everyone has their specialty. My thing is sales. I want to make sure that I can sell you everything that you need for you to feel that you're getting exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And you build your trust in me.
Yeah.
And allow me to execute and deliver the end result that, I would like to exceed your expectation. Forgive me. So when you're doing the food kind of gets all prepped and decomposed and it comes into disposable trays. Forgive me. And when it gets on site, you have to put these pieces together. So now you have, your starch, you have your veggies, you have your protein, and then you have your finishings. So I focus more on how am I going to present all these elements together on a plate that's going to, make it super wow.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the type of things that I like to kind of focus on as a chef, whatever, for lack of better words, as a plating guy. And, anyone can just take pasta sauce, put it together, and then dump it in a plate. But it's your finishing touches. It's all the little details. The type of flowers that you use, or the microgreens, or if you want to use basil, or if you want to use the flower of the basil. And then how you want to kind of, you want to put shavings as opposed to grated cheese, or so on. And so there's all these little details that really kind of set you apart, but also add to the entire culinary experience. So the fact that they see it, they're like, wow, so beautiful. And even if the sauce is a little acidic, just to say, just the fact that it was attractive, it automatically, so I focus a lot on that. I focus a lot on the presentation of how the food display or the buffet station or the food station or the plate is gonna look by using as many different props. And then you kind of go to Pinterest and you look at different pictures and yeah, exactly. And so it's really all about presentation. So I invest a lot into the props of the physical aspect of it, which, is an investment. However, it's part of because if you look at some of these wonderful pictures that people have, you're like, wow, this looks so amazing. I want that. It's the same croissant or the same strudel that's just displayed on a wood tier with, a gold brass or whatever the finish, but it's the same product.
That you can,
Yeah.
It's this. If I were to take this water bottle and put it in a golden chalice, you're like, wow, this is like the best water I've ever had.
It's true, right?
Really?
It's true. It's like the Esca bottle. The Esca is so much better than the Naya,
But
that
it's
type of
the
thing.
same product.
Yeah.
It's just presented differently. So it's all a question of perception. And as I mentioned before, I think my strong point is sales, because I get to read the client, I get to connect with the client, and I have them trust me. And once I have their trust, I cannot let them down.
Yeah.
So your event, wedding or corporate event, is more important to me than it is to the actual client, because this is the future of my business.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Makes
need
sense.
them to be super ecstatic with the end result, that they're going to continue referring me and calling me and so on and so forth. So when I say this to a couple who's getting married, I'm like, your wedding is more important to me than it is to you. Like, impossible. It's my wedding. It's the best day and the most important day of my life. Well, this is why it's more important to me, because I want it to be. I have to make it be, and we do whatever we can. And this just generates more business.
Yeah, exactly.
So then people attract people, and then the money attracts the money, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I have a question. Sorry, I
yeah.
have a question. What if you had to pick one dish? So every client that comes to you and they say, what's one dish it's a fail-safe? You know that it's gonna kill, because G Catering kills this dish.
So we have a lot of great dishes, and the way it works is really trends. This is what kind of determines what I'm gonna recommend to you. And once again, do I have a favorite dish? No. I think 95% of the stuff that we do is like fantastic, and there's some stuff that that's just staples. That being said, question was what again?
Yeah, like if you had to pick one dish,
Signature.
Oh yeah, so
Signature.
our
A
signature
signature
dish. I
dish.
mean, I think anything with along the braised aspect. So it could be a braised beef or a braised lamb shank or a pork
I'm
shank.
already
Yeah, I know.
starving.
So these are great dishes that we've kind of mastered over time. We have great poultry, we have great fishes, we have great grilled meats or seafoods. But off-premise events, it's very tricky. And you have to, for example, if someone says, well, I want the filet mignon, although as a business person, the filet mignon may be $30 more than another dish, it may not be necessarily a white choice because you may like it blue. I like it well done, and you like it medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
When you're
very
pumping out 200, I can't take orders. It's got to be the same cuisson for everyone. So you're paying premium dollars to deliver a dish that if it's not moving on my plate, I myself, I'm not going to eat it because I don't like it this way. So the guests or your client will pay premium dollars for a plate that may not be optimum to the expectation of the end user. Whereas a braised meat, the longer you cook it, the more tender it becomes.
Yeah.
So you can't overcook it, you can't undercook it. It's a great piece of meat. It presents very well. It's very filling. It's, it pleases to the mass. So do we have a specific plate per se? Not necessarily, I know. However, the most popular dish would be a braised beef short rib or a braised lamb shank. This is what's trending for 22, 23, and 24 for now. And then you have the vegan options and the vegetarian options and the fish options.
And do you do also kosher?
We don't do kosher because kosher is a completely different operation. You need to have a kosher kitchen,
yeah.
yes. So this is something that's kind of blessed by rabbis
Yeah, I know.
or whatever the term may be. So
There's,
it's, kosher food only comes from a kosher kitchen.
Okay.
We do kosher style, which
Okay.
means that you don't mix
Yeah.
certain ingredients together. You won't serve pork, you won't serve shellfish, you won't mix meat with dairy because
Okay.
this is all part of the thing. So we don't do kosher, but we do kosher style.
Okay. And I have the question that I wanted to ask before. So this is a very complicated field, but if there's something you don't really like about this business, the events business, not your business, it could be like an attitude. It could be, everything. Something that let's put it this way, something that you think it could be better, that could be changed,
So, I mean, there's nothing that I dislike about the business, right? Because I've adapted to the good, the bad, and the ugly of the business, that everything is kind of good. It's like when you're playing in front of people and when you're performing, some days you'll have like an empty bar and some days you have a full bar, but you kind of adapt. So, would you like it to be full? Yeah, but I'm super cool with it not being full, and just the energy amongst the band will kind of drive the show by itself. So, I mean, it's a little bit of there's nothing I don't like and nothing that can really be, I mean, I would like for consistency in the sense that we're at the mercy of many different variables. COVID is the perfect example. So that was a big hit for everyone in the hospitality and travel industry, right? So having a consistency in the business would be nice. And I mean, some years you'll do like 300 weddings, and some years you do like 180, or you'll do 50 or 60. Or it would be nice to be reassured that you have consistent.
Yeah.
But these are just personal insecurities, because the more you do, the more you're out, the more the phone calls, the phone rings, and now it's a question of just keeping up with the demand. This is really where.
So this is the challenge
Yeah, this
today.
is it.
This
Yeah.
is really
Finally, you answered my question.
I guess so. So I mean, only because the growth happened in such a short amount of time. We did, 5x in numbers in a very short period of time. From year 1 to year 4, taking out 2 years of COVID, I mean, our sales went 10 times that. So when you're growing from $1 to $10, that's huge, and in the very little amount of time. So I'm trying to kind of
keep up.
adapt. Yeah, so you're trying to recruit more staff and buy more fleets and buy more inventory, but you want to keep up with, you know, your current advertising, and you want to keep up with your current clients, and then you have to deal with the clients from last year that are getting married this year, but you want to develop 24, 25, and 2020s. So there's that, and it's just a question of proper structure. And typically, January, February, and March are a little bit of a slower period in the food industry or the hospitality. It has not been the case.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
No,
Wow.
it has not. So my downtime is really limited to, instead of 3 months, like more of a 3-week period. So now you want to recruit more chefs and more waiters and more bartenders and buy more trucks and buy more equipment and develop other projects. So you don't have as much time as you thought. So it's just a question of more. I'm starting to see a pattern. Now, obviously, the more you do it, the busier you become. COVID kind of eliminated 30% of the competitors, so there's 30% more business.
Oh, okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
So sure. So now you have more business, you have more experience, you have more referrals. So it's a continuous, massive snowball effect, which I am eternally grateful for. I mean, these are good problems to have.
Yeah.
For sure.
But just having enough time in a day to kind of reply to 50 emails and return 60 phone calls
Oh boy.
and send out, X amount of quotes, and then develop your next project, and then, hire more staff, and then buy, a few more trucks, and then to buy another 5. It's just that there's so much, there's so many things happening, and they're growing so fast together, which is great. So you just have to be able to kind of step back and look back and really have a well-structured way of working to be able to kind of address all these issues in a very short period of time, because there comes a time where everything just takes off. Like come the month of May, you're banging out like 8 weddings a day or 7 weddings a day or 6 weddings a day, and then you have them on Sundays and Mondays, and then you have your corporate gigs, and then you have your regular clients, and then you have Stefano, I would like a tray of lasagna for 10 people. And you still want to
do that as well?
We do. I mean, we offer to end users for pickups. We do like from 10 guests up to, I'm going to say, 12, 1,300 people per event.
Wow.
Nice.
So more than that, I mean, if you're going to be like 5,000 people in one event, it becomes very challenging. But I mean, we're set to kind of tackle 12, 13, 1,400 people. We have enough resources per event. So if we have a second event that may have 600 people going on simultaneously, we have resources. It's a little more challenging and it's a little more expensive. But sometimes you got to pick and choose the amount of work that you want.
Yeah.
You have to have a financial objective that once you've reached, be grateful and don't be greedy. If you, did your 5 gigs a year, Stefano, and you've made your $500 for lack of better example, once you've reached your gig, your the number of gigs and the number of money you would like to attain by doing so, you have to be able to enjoy the rest of your time.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to earn
What
the
if
money that
the
you
enjoyment is getting another gig?
Yeah, well, but this is what it is, right? But once you're booked as a musician, 200 gigs a year, you want to be able to enjoy the other 165 days because you've reached. So you have a financial objective to attain. Once I've attained that financial objective, I'm not looking to grow anymore. I mean, how much money does one guy want? I mean, but at the same time, I want to be able to enjoy it. I want to be able to enjoy my kids. I mean, you miss a lot of precious moments.
Yeah.
And this is why I said before, my wife is a very important element. And if I didn't say it, I'm going to say it now. She's a very important factor in my success because she supports what I do. And she
important,
understands what I do. And like last year, I wasn't home. Like from May to December, you miss birthdays and weddings and funerals and milestones because I have young children. So it's kind of hard. There's sacrifices. But 2 years prior, when COVID was around,
You're buying the party hats for the birthday party.
yeah. But not only that, I mean, there's a cost to remaining opened and not generating any income. We were busy. We were very busy executing events. But a wedding of 10 people or 12 people in the backyard,
Yes, it's
Yeah.
different.
I mean, my staff is making the money. I'm not making money. I gotta make money when there's volume.
Yeah.
So there were financial struggles and hardship and decisions that had to be made, and I decided to weather the storm, and I knew the product was great, and it's not just me, it's everyone. We were all under that umbrella. However, some were not as lucky to kind of weather that financial storm.
Yeah.
So you kind of, you're reinvesting in your product financially. But this reinvestment has to be paid off. So last year was a little bit of a learning curve as far as as far as my family goes. There were a lot of sacrifices that I had to be made and so on and so forth. So I'm very blessed to have, a wonderful wife who's supporting me, and it's thanks to her that.
I think it's so
Nice,
important.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, super important, super important.
Well, on that positive note,
Yes,
we have our game.
Yes.
Yes, we have our rapid
we have a
response
game, rapid response.
Yes.
You have to do a little dance every. No, I'm just joking.
I may suck at this because my answers are kind of filtered.
No, don't filter them.
No, don't.
The best
filter.
games are
We
the
are not
unfiltered
filtered.
ones.
That's it.
Okay,
So this
we'll
is
try.
rapid response. You'll see what it is. I'll ask them the first question.
Sure.
And basically, you have a couple of seconds to respond
Which
to
is not a couple
a
of seconds.
question
sometimes.
like this. Francesca, name 3 animals you would like as pets.
Koala,
Yeah, she looks like one.
a dolphin.
That's my-
like
that's
it's
mine, yeah.
gonna be koala, dolphin, and a wolf.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wait,
So
I'm not
all
going to
small
your house.
animals.
Poor Olivia. Yo, she's a crudité.
But also because where I'm gonna put the dolphin, but whatever.
Whatever. It's just it's a
You
dream.
build an aquarium. What's the problem? 3 pets. I'd love to have a black panther,
Nice.
a horse. I love horses.
I'm not gonna make a joke on that.
I love horseback riding. I did it when I was a child. Shut up, Patty. And a sloth.
What? Just because you saw that movie and it's the funniest scene in the movie? I can't remember what it was.
Ice Age.
Ice Age, yeah. the
It was
sloth
so
in the
nice.
middle, right?
I love
I
it.
love that.
They're cute though. The real sloth is really slow.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
of
they're
course.
so cuddly. You see their faces.
But
It's like-
koalas too.
but then they're high.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it is. Sloths
Eucalyptus.
are naturally slow.
Okay, Gigi, here you go.
That's it for you.
Name 3 reasons to use a mirror.
To see how pretty I look,
Nice.
Yeah, good.
Works.
to see how unpretty I look,
And now the third.
and to see who's behind me.
That works.
See?
Totally
You're good.
works.
It's good.
He's good.
See?
Yes. Lisa and Francesca. What? Name 3 sounds.
Name 3 sounds.
Okay.
I'm first. Beep. Woo woo woo.
Whoa.
Honk.
You can tell Lisa wrote these fucking.
Well, since we are
I wrote these.
since we are talking like comic whatever book, so slurp, burp, a gulp.
That was the X-rated version of Batman back in the day. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but because
They just
when
have the word pow.
when I was
Slurp,
a kid,
right?
I was
Slurp, yeah.
reading a Paperino, Topolino, and I remember that the only thing in English that was like this, like slurp, burp, gulp.
Gigi, name 3 sour foods.
This for you.
Lemons, limes, and pamplemousses.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
no pressure.
That was quick.
It's
Holy shit.
good.
He's delivering, man. You see?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
I have to
Lisa
make the
and
questions harder.
Lisa
But I
and
did say
Francesca.
pamplemousses, eh? And,
You
Yeah.
did. I know. We
I
didn't.
was like,
and not grapefruits, forgive me.
I'm gonna say that if it was one of them saying that, I would have been all over that. But you're a guest, you know.
Thank you. Thank you for sparing me.
he wants the ribeiro on the lasagna. That's what it is.
Now that you say that,
Lisa and Francesca, name 3 things you protect from the sun.
my eyes,
Nice.
my head,
Yeah.
my eyes, my head, and my eyes, my head, and well, my body because I don't want to get burned.
Yeah, there you go.
A baby,
Oh yeah, see, she's better. See,
a jellyfish, because they dry out.
well, why?
Wait, you protect them from?
Well, you have an umbrella. You just stand there. You put them back in the water.
Yeah, they do with
Right.
jellyfish like
You
that.
guys on
yeah.
weekends?
So you just gotta.
You do this on weekends?
I know I'm bad. I wish if there was a beach in my yard. And what else do you protect? Food.
Yeah.
See, she was prepared.
That's a good answer.
See? Food.
So now it goes to Gigi. This is the last one. Name 3 animals that walk on 2 legs.
Kangaroos.
Humans.
But we are.
Or yeah, well, yeah.
Animals that walk on 2 legs.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Aha.
Yeah.
See? I couldn't even get that one. I'm like, this is good.
So yeah, kangaroo would be one. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Monkey? Yeah, there you go, thanks.
Monkey. There you go.
I
Well,
give
monkey,
it.
do they really?
Yeah, but
They
they can.
can.
They can.
Well, they
They
can,
will
yeah.
be-
And then a duck.
There you go.
Ooh.
Good
Oh,
one.
carino.
Quack, quack, quack.
See?
Very good. Very good.
Oh my God, that was funny. I'm thinking about it. What other animals walk on 2 legs?
Anyway.
Ostrich.
Eh?
An
Yeah.
ostrich.
All birds, I guess, walk
Yeah,
on
all birds.
Yeah, that's true actually. You
Flamenco.
open up to birds. So on that opening, so you at home keep thinking about animals that
Yes.
can
Walk
walk
on
up
2
2
legs.
legs.
Send us in the comments.
Exactly. That would be fun. So before we thank Gigi for being here and entertain us and give us many inspirational
Make us hungry, but whatever.
yeah, a lot hungry, but
Actually,
That
had
also
raised
braised
beef
lamb.
sounds-
I
like
really
I
like
feel
that
like
braised lamb.
that seeing and hearing someone talking about his own business with this passion and motivation is really inspiring. So thank you so much.
Well, thank
Thanks
you for having me.
coming.
Yes.
See, the hour's over.
Yeah,
It's
great.
pretty quick.
So
eh?
before we say goodbye, Gigi, where people can find you? I know you already said that, but for
So
clients.
you can find us for your Instagram users at gcatering.mtl. You can find us at www.traiteurgcatering.com, and you can find us at Traiteur G Catering on Facebook.
So
Excellent.
perfect.
Excellent.
So guys, call Gigi, and if you have a party, a corporate event, private event, something you want to do, and you want great service and great food
Yes.
and
I'm your guy.
quality,
Yeah.
he's the man.
The lasagna for 10 people.
The lasagna for
Actually,
10
that sounds
people.
really
Sunday.
appetizing.
It's
I have to tell
underrated.
you.
Actually,
My
it's
birthday's coming up,
underrated.
just saying, putting it out there.
Catering for small events, for small dinner is underrated, but it's a great experience.
It's
It
the
can be
best
a
ever.
great event.
And I say it every time I have people at my house. No, I'm just gonna make a couple of pizzas or whatever. Yeah, and then by the second hour, I'm like, but the fuck, man.
I'm hungry. Yeah.
No, it's like you want to be with the guests, but
Yeah.
you're in the kitchen, you're sweating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. I mean,
yeah,
that's
it's
true.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
you just call Gigi, he'll bring you whatever, man. Give me a couple of dishes, you put on the table, everyone loves it.
Good one, good
You can
quality,
pretend
good
you did it,
presentation.
that's it.
And they get your forks. They go above and beyond to get
They
your
get
forks.
your forks.
So if they forget anything, they're gonna find it for you. So
Exactly. Like,
no worry.
Walmart. Get ready.
So guys, thank you so much. Thanks,
Yes,
thanks again to our
amazing.
sponsors.
Absolutely. And guys, look, when you hire, because we know you're going to hire Gigi, you're going to hire him, eat the great food, and then you're going to call Nettoyage Diamant to clean everything up.
Yeah, and take
That's
some
it.
picture with
And
the
take some
Richard
pictures of the amazing food, because
Yes,
apparently
Richard.
the presentation is
and
amazing.
of your event. So you
Yeah.
can hire Richard for your event. You clean after and after the service with Anthony. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had a little bit of a, fluttering in the background,
A little
and
bit of a-
a
was like
fluttering, like, where could we find you? And that's great
Yes,
because we want people to see this podcast. So where can you find us? We are
Us,
on
yes.
YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, we are on YouTube. We are on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts,
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. So we're technically everywhere. So
In
there's
your
no
backyard,
excuse
too.
that you don't watch this podcast.
You don't want to know, but we are there.
We are there. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Thank you again.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Gigi.
Thank you so
I mean,
much.
now I'm gonna go out and place my order for the coming weekend, and I think my list is like this long. So, guys, stay tuned for more. Let's talk it out. Stay tuned for the Sessions with Steph podcast, podcast,
Podcast.
Whenever he is. No, I'm kidding. It's Wednesdays. So, guys, stay tuned for that, and sit and order, and don't forget G Catering. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.